and my journey to your members. It's a good way, right? The COVID has made us all closer, much more closer, and it's a good opportunity. Like there are many people who sharing their experience, and it is a good opportunity for everyone to learn through this medium. I myself, we are hosting a lot of talks in the coming weeks with other photographers as well. So it's a good platform, you know. So let me share my works with everyone. I hope you'll enjoy. I'm just new to this, so please bear with me. Okay, you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so I'm Sreedhar. I'm 51 years old. Um, I was working in Dubai for 29 years as a HR and human resource manager for a local company in Dubai. And in 2018, I thought enough is enough. So I quit my job, and now I've settled in Kerala. 2 years now, and ever since I'm just shooting, covering festivals, walking on the streets, documenting the culture. This is what I'm doing right now. Um, also do workshops on street and documentary photography, and right now I'm focusing more on photo tours and workshops, focusing on the festivals of Kerala. I'll show you what all things I'm doing at the end. So I started my photography around 2010, 2011. Um, I was part of a group called FSO Friday Shootout, where we go every Fridays to different locations in UAE. I started with, I used to shoot a lot of landscapes of Dubai, uh, sorry, UAE, the Northern Emirates. Uh, just let me know if the slides are something like so I can be slow. Finish.
Yeah, it's perfect now. What we can see, I mean, there's no lag as you're speaking. Yeah, we can see that it's correlated. Yeah, go ahead with that.
Yeah. So everything started with landscapes, mostly landscapes. Then I switched to travel photography. I started traveling around mostly India, shooting all the iconic places, shooting the festivals, cultures, and then I got bored of these kind of stuff. I think I could do this every time I go out. Then in 2014, I started to know more about street photography. I started to learn street photography. I thought it's very easy, you know. Everything looks very simple. I when I walked, so I thought I'll just walk around the streets, but nothing is coming. I'm not able to take any pictures. I'm not able to do the same thing which I've seen of those masters. So I attended workshops by all the prominent uh, photographers in street. And since 2015, I've been doing mostly street. So it switched to what I was. I stopped shooting landscapes. Everything changed. My perspective changed. I felt street is very challenging because nothing is in our hand, nothing is in our control. We have to capture those moments in a fraction of a second. We have to be prepared. We have to be in that time, in that place where things happen. So the more challenging it was, I felt this is what I wanted to do. You know, this is what I wanted to overcome the challenges. I wanted to shoot these kind of pictures. So started shooting the Dubai streets. Then later, even that, all those juxtapose and the simple things, I felt really bored. I wanted to evolve myself. I kept constantly experimenting my photography. I tried using flash, and this is how I evolved now. These are my current states of images. So I have applied the street principles in the festivals of Kerala, usage of flash, all these kind of techniques. So what happens is that I try to get a different kind of unique kind of perspective when they usually see images. This is what I'm trying to do now. This is my current state now. I apply a lot of flash photography in the festival. So this is my photo tour company, which I'm doing right now in Kerala. I conduct photo tours covering all the festivals, major festivals. Right now, I'm covering mostly Teyyam festivals. I hope most of you guys are aware of Teyyam festivals. It starts from October to May, June every year. So I conduct every month. I get people coming. I just started it last year in the month of October. I started. Unfortunately, due to COVID, now everything's stuck. So, and I do workshops. I do photo walks. So these are the things that I've been doing for the past 2 years. The past team which had come with me for the photo tour. So this is Teyyam festivals that I cover. Mostly right now, all the photo tours are based on Teyyam. Those who have not information about Teyyam, this is Teyyam. These are the other festivals also I do photo tours. This is the Oracle Festival. These are one of the major festivals of Kerala which I'm doing photo. Yeah, so that's about me. It's a introduction about me and what I do, and this is my present situation. So our session today is about street photography, which I'll be sharing with you three principles that I approach on the streets. These are not the final words. This is just my approach and the principles that I learned. So I'll be talking about the concepts of street photography, the principles that I approach on the streets, which you may find interesting, and you can start. You will be getting an idea what we are looking for on the streets. So, what is street photography? You see, streets is the most debated form of in the genre of photography. There are different people have different opinions about street photography. It's a large, it's an umbrella term. It's what I say. It is described in a broader perspective. It has got different meanings when you apply it in certain places. So it's a largely debated genre of photography. It's about creating a fictional narrative that each one of us has to express him or herself. This is a very famous photograph by Joel Malowitz. You see, it's just taken on the streets. But what interesting in this picture is a man fallen down, and then you can see on the right hand side, people are least bothered. Some are not even looking. There are traffic going on. There is a guy with a cart going. What is happening to the man fallen down? Is he hurt? Is he dead? So this is the type of questions that you need to check in an image. This is what we call street photography. It is very subjective, it's unpremeditated, spontaneous, it's unforced, and it's candid. These are the main things you need to identify in a street. Mostly it is candid, unposed. If it's posed, it is not street photography. Yeah, for us, street can happen anywhere. Like it's not only on the streets. Happens in subways, private parties at your home, beaches, park, and yes, on the streets itself. But street photography is not, we're not defining it anything taken on the streets itself. These are the pictures I've taken at home. The idea behind is that the question arises, what is happening here? The dog biting, there's someone sitting at the back. It's the mystery we are creating in the picture. This is taken in a conference. This is my hand. This image is published in National Geographic. This is this picture is taken in a park when I went with my family. It's about the mystery we create in a scene. This is used with a flash. You see, Street is a self-interest project, and like I showed you before for my changes in my images, it's an you have to evolve each and every time and reinvent yourself in this art. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a certain kind of a type of imageries. So this is my current state. I'm trying to experiment a lot. I'm trying to take surreal kind of images. I use flash a lot. You see, over a period of time, it's all about how you feel. There are no rules to define it. There is no certain principles as such. Everything is about the feeling. Street photography is not widely accepted. It is only accepted by a certain section of people, and you won't get any likes or wows as you get in landscape photography. So, unless if it's something out of the box of where somebody can relate very well. Otherwise, it is mostly accepted by a certain section of people. So I'm just giving you an idea between what is travel photography and what is the difference between street photography. You see, travel photography, there is a different miscommunications mostly. That is, travel covers everything, landscape, street portraits, and everything. But travel photography is about showing a particular location or people in that environment, or you get a sense of place. This is a festival I shot in Kerala. You get a sense of place. Street photography should have a surprise element, which we call. Just the moment is more important than the location. See, the boy is turning around. It's a girl, sorry. She's turning around to see if her mom's okay, if the bull has, hit her, and the light, the smoke, everything makes it the different. So we are stuck by the light, by the particular moment the girl is turning around. Whereas here we understand there's a festival going on, people singing. Street photography, this is the common understood and generally shot as a beginner in a street photography. We take everything on the streets. It's okay. There's no right and wrong, but the approach that we do, we consider in the next level of a street photography is not this, not just this. These are the general pictures that every beginners shoot on the streets. Okay, picture. It's a guy, nice leg posture, everything is there. But this is not what we approach. So you see, what we can make our street photography different from the usual scene is what I'm going to show you in the next slides. We call it a surprise, or we call it a twist. A twist can be obvious, a subtle moment, a gesture, expression, like in the previous image I showed you, the light or shadows. We call it a twist. There should be some kind of surprise element in your picture. What makes a picture, what makes your viewer stay in that image for long, that we call as a surprise. You see in this image, right now, the guy is looking at the parking ticket, but there is nothing to, what else is there? Nothing. He's just looking at the parking ticket, but there's no surprise as such. What is surprise in this image? is this. This is what we call surprise. There's a devil here, and there's a parking ticket given to him, and look at the devil's look. So this is the kind of surprise that we want to include in a frame. This is a picture taken by Matt Stewart, by the way, not by me. This is a very ordinary picture. Somebody taking a tourist taking a picture of something else, but there's no element of surprise in this. This is a very snapshot. How we can make this surprising or much funnier is this. You see the humor in this. The cameras the other way around. So identifying these kind of things makes the picture different. You see the difference between this and this. This is just a snapshot, but this is what we have to identify in the streets. A very ordinary picture of a dog sleeping, but there's no surprise element in it. It's a surprise element. This is what we call a surprise element. A dog sleeping on the pedal or a dog sleeping on the floor. So you see the key elements for a good picture. Obviously, it's a content, it's a form, and light. So here we're talking only about the content. The rest is the composition, everything everybody knows about. Handling of light. Of course, if you're learning photography, you know how to control the exposure. So these are some of the general uh, steps or the elements that required to be say a street photography to the next level. We have to consider these either of these 12 principles to be included in your image. So these are here. I hope everybody can see the screen. So I'll take you
Yes,
through
we can.
slides and the examples of what each point is about. So when I go on the streets, this is what I look for. This is the general things that need to be included in my street photography. Otherwise, I find it very, very basic level, like we saw a general photo on the street. So we say echo or similarity, which is identifying similar elements, which can be a color, shape, objects, people, gestures, expressions. This is what we call a similarity or echo. So this such kind of things we have to identify when we are walking on the streets. So we are echoing with the zebra crossing, the lady with the same kind of dress. So these kind of images fall under that kind of and under echo and similarity kind of. See, there is a pipe which is echoing the same expression of the guy sitting on the left. These are all unposed, candid moments. It's all I saw while walking on the streets of Dubai. So even the pipe has got the sad look facing down. Guy is also facing down. A similar kind of action between the uh, painting and the guy on the right, both holding a heavy stuff. Decisive moment is popularized by Master Henri Cartier-Bresson. Is having a shot at the precise moment when you arrange all things in an order. It's all about anticipation and timing. You have to anticipate. Like for example, this is shot by Henri Cartier-Bresson. He anticipated the guy might jump. That is the moment. That the moment that leg is not hitting on the water. That moment is we call as a decisive moment. These are all my shots. I saw this the background, and I anticipated someone to run or walk where I can time it as such that if the bird is going to come on top of that particular person. So I was lucky for it. So you need to anticipate these kind of things if you have a good background. Uh, a common um, principle we use on the street, which is juxtaposition. It's all about drawing a contrast between elements. It can be people, signs, objects, colors, ideas. The contrast between the ladies in the burqa and they're trying to buy a dress, colorful dress on the background. The porter sleeping on his cart, whereas there is a happy poster at the background. Guy is dreaming maybe about his family. Another one is we need to identify humor on the scenes, which should have a connections between uh, the scene. You see, this is all about alignment. You need to be lucky as well. Illusion, which is bringing an unrelated, often a distant object to the same world. Illusions are it's very difficult to have it organized, but once you have it done, picture by Elliot Erwitt. I'm sure everybody has seen it. Picture by Matt Stewart. It's all about seeing the image. This thing might be there for many days, but it's all about how you saw, how the photographer saw it. Creates an illusion as a peacock. This is my image. It looks like as if the lady is walking inside the water. This is my image. I feel like this guy sitting on that cart, whereas it's just a background. It's a poster at the on the wall. Really very difficult to approach creating a mystery in an image. That is, we call it an open-ended images. You see, the more the image asks a question, the better the image we call it. Because in this digital age, we say a lifespan of an image is 4 seconds, maybe. How can your viewer stay in that image for maybe 10 seconds? Is about the mystery you create in the image. That is the questions. Each viewers of like us should ask, what is going on there? Why this guy is biting the leg? These kind of questions should arise in the image. And this is an image by the master Richard Culver. He's a master in this kind of images. He's a magnum photographer. This is my image. So we have to make up your own story and leave it to the viewers to have their own version of it. Why this guy is left outside? Is he waiting for someone? How long he'll wait? Why isn't there anybody to help him? Or does he want to go to the loo? These kind of questions you need to arise from an image. This is another part, boot, where we're looking for nice light, shadows, a feel. There's nothing much to explain. It's all about the feel, about the mood. It can be, very subtle mood. The colors are good. I can relate. The girl is waiting. She's sad. There's a nice color. Again, another principle we approach, play of patterns. You see, it can include animals also considered as street photography, but it should be in a human relation environment. Otherwise, it will be considered as a nature or wildlife photography. So, whatever animals you shoot should have some relation that it has a human relation, like it is in a house, in a street, but it has some kind of story or humor, we call it as street photography, even there's an animal in it. It's about all the placement, alignment of the horns with the trees. We make up our own story, you know. What is it like? Racism? And I shoot this a lot. You don't need to have people exactly on this on in your every photo of yours. You can do it without people also, but we call it the unpeople scene. But it should have some traces of human activity, and you need a very good seeing to get images out of it. See the cart is connecting with the poster at the back. Both their hands are together. This is a reflection of light which hit on a mirror and is falling. It has fallen down. I saw this as a face, you know. Luckily, there's a drain also to look as an eye. Layers are very difficult to make because we need to have the foreground, a middle ground, and a background. There should not be an overlap. We need to layers are basically you have multiple subjects from one corner to another, so your viewers will have look from top to bottom, look everywhere. Layers are very difficult. Plus, layers are very strong images because your viewers will stay long in an image which has got layers. This is a master, Alex Webb of Magnum Photos. He's a master of layers. His images are all complex. You have multiple stories in an image. You happen to look from this end to that, from the right to left, the background. There are a lot of subjects in an image. We have Vineet Vora, is my mentor. He's a master in these layers. Image you already saw. So layers are basically having a main subject, the middle ground, and then you have a background, and then you have a foreground. But none of these should be overlapped. Yes, not necessary. But, many street photographers apply flash. I do a lot because it gives a surreal kind of effect to your images. This is shot in Kumbh Mela. Some of the important collectives, maybe you guys can check those who are looking for, I mean, practicing street photography. These are one of the prominent street photography collectives and websites that you can check. Of course, the Magnum photographers, and we have the UP photographers, which previously they were called In Public, but due to some in-fight problems, internal problems, they changed their name to UP photographers. UPF is our Indian photography, street photography collective. Uh, their brothers Vineet and Rohit are doing very well promoting this genre, and there are many Indian uh, followers for them. And I belong to this In Street collective, which we are 8 members from India, all over India. Burn My Eye is a good one. Observe. For street photography, the best place to look for is Flickr. And I would suggest go ahead with HCSP, which is Hardcore Street Photography. This is a group in Flickr. It is very difficult to get in through that group, a highly curated group, but one of the best groups to check for street photography. You see in the Flickr, the results, the search results. So the landscape is very less. This is not the place to go on Flickr. You see street photography. the number of searches for street photographers, about 4 million. Yeah, so that's about it for street photography. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know.
Um, I will unmute, or maybe if you can just type on a chat if anybody wants to ask some question, uh, or unmute everyone so that if anybody has any question, they can ask. Feel free to ask. I have unmuted pretty much everyone. Okay. Um, does anybody have any questions to ask? Uh, One thing I want to know, like, it's okay. Saurabh, Sabi, you want to ask something?
Hey Ganesh, yeah, I was writing something. So,
Okay. One thing I want to know, or probably like, something which would will be keen to look at is the layers. How do we get, and maybe I missed on a couple of layers. What do we see when it comes to layer in street photography? What is important to see? Of course, it is what you are relating or what you're focusing. Apart from that, how do you define layer in street photography?
That's a good question. Yeah, you see, layers are basically you need to have a middle ground, which is your main subject. You have a subject coming in, so you are adding more elements in the scene. How you can have is that you have a foreground coming in, then you have a your main subject is here, then you have a foreground coming in, then you need to have a background as well. So we are adding more elements in the frame without having any overlaps or without having any what do you say yeah, basically overlaps. Overlaps, we have to avoid all the overlaps. The middle ground as your main subject, having a foreground and a background without any overlaps is what we call as layers. Adding more elements to the side is all it's all fine. This is what we look for layers, but it is very difficult to have it all together. So you need to key eye to make sure there's no overlap between the subjects and ensure that you have a middle and you have a foreground and you have a background. We call it a layer.
Okay. Next question is how do you differentiate that with fill the frame? There is something called fill the frame, which I often see that. Is it something different from this layers, or how do you define that?
You can call layers also fill the frame because basically we are looking from edge to edge. You're having different stories from edge to edge. But sometimes fill the frame can also be like a person dominant in your frame, and then you have different subjects at the side or the background. It can be like a semi kind of layers itself, but fill the frame is basically having different stories in the frame. Also, it can be a main story with added sub stories on the side. But maybe I'll just show you some images so that you have an idea. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, you have a main character here, and then you have different characters here also. We have the frame filled here from this end. We have a diagonal line going this way.
Hmm?
All we have different subjects in the frame here. In the layers we have here a subject, here a subject, and at the background also subject. So that is the difference between the layers and the fill the frame. But both we can consider both as the same also.
Uh, Next question. Do anybody has any question on this, or can we ask any more? Okay, my next question is, hi Vinay, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you. Um, yeah, same here.
Vinay.
Next question. Okay, my next question is, uh, what is the normally what is the settings like? People sometimes ask. Street is something which sometimes you have to cover the entire frame, make things clear, instead of like you can't just take one subject and blur the background. It may not be street. So normally when you get onto the street, or for that matter anywhere, even at your home, what is the best setting, depending on the light, of course. Light is a key factor here.
Yeah.
What settings normally you take it, like assuming it's a daylight, you step onto the street during the day. Uh, what kind of settings do you keep normally, like, to be on a safer side? Because we can't switch and swap, the apertures or shutter speed. What is like, which is kind of a safe?
Yeah. You see, basically, you have a lot of information in the frame. So ideally, when we go out, we put in a f-stop, f8 and above, f11, f13. Put an ISO maybe 2000 or 1200, shutter speed of about 500th of a second. The reason is that we don't want to miss the scene, and we also want to have a lot of information in the frame. So we need to have anything f8 and above. And if you have lesser, like shutter speed less than 1 by 500th or 1 by minimum, you should keep in 250, because you should not have a like a you have the, like, suppose you have a trying to do layers and you have a blurry subject moving in, so it doesn't really get the picture doesn't really have any importance. So anything f8 and above is what we all normally put. You have a lot of information in the frame. I do.
So
but
you can
but
keep
when
the ISO in auto mode.
Yeah, you can have keep the ISO also auto mode, but then maybe sometimes if you have a light and shadow play, you cannot control the light at that time.
Right, right, yeah.
Ideally, I keep everything in manual so that you have control of everything. But
Okay.
but certain times, like when I use flash and stuff like that, I play around with shutters, and because flash I want to have a kind of surreal blurry type of thing, so I do slow shutters approach as well.
Okay.
So, but in the daytime, generally, if you don't use flash, f8 and above. I have a lot of information in the frame.
Okay. Um,
But we
Next
don't put
question.
f2.8 or something like that.
That's
The
right.
normal.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Next question is coming from Ashish Banerjee. He's asking, how do you make sure layers don't cause distractions?
Layers don't cause distraction.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, you see, this is a very tricky scenario that you have a good subject, and then you need to, if you're shooting in color, you need to have a balance of color as well, because some colors also are very distracting in the foreground. If you have a main subject, then you have a foreground as a person with a white shirt or white dress, then it takes the attention away from the main subject towards the foreground. So it is very important also what you keep inside the frame. If you don't have a proper subjects or elements in the frame, it's better to switch to another frame or just leave it aside, because even if you have a good subject, if you have any distractions, it's of no use. It is very important. Distraction.
Continuing with the same question, how do you choose, whenever there's street photography, more than 50%, people prefer to go with black and white. How do you choose color to black and white?
It's a personal decision. There's no as such thing as that black and white is street or color is street. When Henri Cartier-Bresson he started, he used to shoot only in black and white because those days everything was in black and white. He never used to accept people who shoot in color. I One of my favorite photographers masters is Raghubi Singh. So I was just reading his one of his books. The first book he published when Andikati Prasan visited Jaipur, Raghubi went and met him, and he showed him the book, which is color. He didn't even look at it. So some people have this kind of because they were all shooting in black and white, but things changed. But when you go out on the streets, it's a personal decision choice that you're going to do. That are you going to shoot everything in black and white, or are you going to shoot in color? Because some pictures you need to see in color when there is life, when there is a lot of people with vibrant colors and everything. You need to see those pictures in colors. I hope you must have seen that in some comments. If somebody posts a picture, we put, "Can you show us in color?" I mean, we like to see that image in color, yeah. But I have shot one project in Dubai, which is a 365 days project, which I shot every day on the streets. I shot everything in black and white because that is a kind of challenge that I set for me. I shoot in black and white. I shot in square format. So in those days, everything I saw in black and white only. Because in black and white, in order for an image to stand out as a black and white, there should be good contrast between the subject and your background. Those images will be much better for a black and
That's good. Moving on
white.
to the next question.
One more
Yeah.
tip I can give is that if you're out on the street, you can use your mobile and you can put the filter, black and white filter, and you can see for yourself. Does it work in a black and white, a particular scene? Then you can. I mean, these days shoot in RAW, and you have the option to convert it to black and white or color when you go back.
Moving on to the next question by Sunil. He's asking, is having some kind of imperfection part of street photography?
Yeah,
Can you
sometimes.
read? Yeah, yeah. Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, right now we feel that more of technicalities, more of rules make it more of perfection makes it boring. Sometimes imperfect image with a good content, with a good feeling is more important for me now. I don't want myself to have a perfect image with all the rule of thirds and everything. I don't look at all those things. If I look at the content is more important for me. Of course, the rules and things like that, it's a part of my flow now. I know where to place my subjects, but more technical an image, it looks very boring for me. So sometimes imperfect image is also good, but provided there's a good content.
Okay.
Like if you notice the first image that I shot, I showed you the one which I shot at home. There is no particular rules or anything to it. It's just that moment, just the mystery it is creating.
Okay, that's good. Moving on to the next question is Happy. Um, he's asking, how do you choose your location?
Oh no, no. I just walk. Um I shoot every day on my hometown. I go for a walk. I shoot. The 365 days I shot in Dubai is all shot 90% in and around my house and my office space. So there's no location as such. I just walk, wander. I get lost, and something comes up. I shoot. There is no such thing as you go to Varanasi or you go to an exotic location to shoot street photography. My principle is that you need to find these kind of extraordinary elements, scenes in your backyard. If you're not able to find that, you won't be able to find anywhere. So I don't set any locations as such. I hope this is what the question and answer is.
Is that what you wanted, Sabi?
Yes, I just wanted to know, how do you choose your locations? Like I said, I saw so many pictures from Kerala, right? And you also conduct tours as well there. So just wanted to know, how do you choose your location before going to any tour or something?
Oh, okay. You see, these festivals, we know, like we have a calendar that we know these festivals happen throughout the year, in particular month and particular days. So we plan accordingly to go for those. If we're talking about going for those particular festivals, yeah. Otherwise, on a regular street shoot, no, there's no particular such thing. That I just walk every day. I shoot my hometown. Even these festivals that I go, I try to identify those extraordinary moments. Otherwise, I'm doing a documentary series also on these festivals, but there are some images which stand out as a street, which I keep aside in a different folder.
Okay, thank you.
The next question is from Chenny. He's asking, when you go out for street photography, do you have a preconceived image or scene in mind, or you just capture what you fancy at that point of time?
Yeah, that's a good question, because no, I don't. I don't keep any preconceived notion or idea about an image because what happens is that then I'll be looking only for that preconceived image. And in between, what happens is that there will be a better moment which comes in front of me. I might miss that. I like to keep everything open. I like to have my scene, the stage set open. I want my characters to come inside the scene so that I'm there to grasp it. If over a period of time, if you're doing any project or series, like suppose I'm doing a series based on hands, or maybe I'm doing a series based on particular color, while doing a walk, I might identify those scenes very quickly, like there is hands walking. So I just concentrate on that. Otherwise, I let things come to me. I don't keep anything preconceived. But then, like I said, my images becomes very limited to only that set of images. So keep options open and walk. Believe me, there are a lot of surprises in front of you.
The next question is from Hirak. Do you mostly depend on wide angle lens or use zoom lens also?
Okay. For my streets, I use a 28 mil because this is my focal distance generally when I'm out on the streets. I like to have the reason 28 is because I like to have more elements in the frame, so it helps me to go closer as well to my subjects. But when I'm shooting the festivals and culture, I shoot with a 24-70. I shoot with a Fuji, so it's a 16 crop sensor, which is equivalent to 24-70. Because in some situations I can't go close, so the zoom lens allow me the flexibility to focus or bring my subjects closer. But otherwise, while shooting on the streets, I use a 28 mil.
Okay. The next question is from Dilla. Um, she's asking if we have portrait shots, is it considered street photography?
No, then it's considered as street portraits because you're posing them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You see, there is no right or wrong in this art. It's about how your approach is. Like why I do street photography is because of the uncertainty of it. Nothing is in my control. I like to take pictures which is happens all of a sudden and I'm there to capture it. And believe me, 99% is failure. If you get a perfect shot, it might be just one like there will be some kind of flaws in it because I'm not arranging anything. My experience makes me understand what is the mistakes. So accordingly, I try to move around so I minimize the mistakes. This is the importance and the beauty of street photography. If you have a portrait taken on the street, it's good. It's not considered, in my approach as a street photography, we consider it as street portrait because you're posing your characters.
Okay.
The next question is from Sudipta. Actually, I skipped it. How to approach strangers in street photography?
Uh, how to approach? You see, if you have a subject come in front of you, uh, go for the shot. I mean, if you find the particular frame, everything set right, go click the shot. Why you need to worry about the person and everything? Sometimes, so in some situations, people when they see us, they tell us no, 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 no photography. Respect that. Don't take the pictures. Move away. We'll get another subject coming in. But if you find some a character coming in, be there quickly and take the shot. Then comes the second thing that then they might ask why you took the shot. There might be conflicts like uh, please delete the shot. Respect it. I have faced a lot of things in Dubai as well. Some locals have come and tried to hit me. So they just tell you to delete the shot and just respect it. Just delete the shot. And when you're in Dubai and these Middle East countries, respect the laws. Your life is more important. If there's a law that tells you don't take pictures of ladies, kids, and locals, don't take their pictures.
Okay. Um, Moving on to the next question is from Bharatji. Do you shoot in multi-frame, multi-shot frame, or a single shot frame?
Yes, I take multiple shots only when I see people walking, because uh, if I have a good background, but these are the my older days type of approach. If I have a good background, I want a character to walk in. I make sure the stride is full. That is, you have a V shape of the legs, not half. So in order for that, I take multiple shots where I get that perfect shot of the leg posture as a V. You should always ensure that it should not be halfway through, that the leg is half up or just one leg is visible. But make sure the leg is having a V posture. For that, I try to take multiple shots. Yes. When you have the facility, use it.
Right. Um, Anybody else have any question? All good? Yes, Raj?
I want to ask, but I don't know how to type it and send it to you, Ganesh.
That's fine. You can go ahead. Yeah, you're on screen.
All right. What I wanted to know was that he was talking about the flash, using of flash, but I didn't get to see the sample images of that. I think probably he forgot to show it or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want me to show it again?
I would love to because I would want to ask you after that.
Sure, sure. Please bear with me. In Kerala, we have poor connection.
That's okay.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you see Raj?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, so these are some of the shots I used flash.
So these are like during the daytime or at the night time?
Uh, you see, flash and this blurry things is more good when there is evening time, night, and early morning time. When there is less light, then you can use these kind of effects.
Okay.
These
Uh,
are shot. These are shot at night, and also when you do these kind of blurry shots, you need to have, in order for them to look blurry, you need to have some kind of uh, lights or something at the background to have that effect more dominant.
okay. Thank you. And the second one was I saw a photograph of yours which was shot in a Banaras lane or something, where you were talking about that small girl turning around and looking back at someone. It was a colored picture. So I just wanted to know, how do you control the light and the effects over there?
You
There
see,
was there was
yeah,
smoke over there, which was very prominent. The light was prominent, and the alley in which that girl was walking, and there was shadow on that girl as well. It was a photograph from Banaras, some Banaras lane.
yes, correct. It was shot from Banaras. Um, you see, photography is all about controlling light.
And that's what I wanted to know. How do
Yeah.
you get
So just a moment, let me just pick the picture. Yeah, this one, yeah.
This one, exactly this one.
Yeah, you see, I was here, I was in this sitting in this scene for maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour because this light and this smoke, everything fascinated me, you know. I must have taken maybe 200 shots, 150 to 200 shots here with different subjects coming in. For
Perfect.
me, the main I exposed to this light here. So, and also I ensured I have a larger depth of field, so I have a lot of information in the scene.
Right. So if you
So
could just reveal the settings, what you must have used for this one. Is it like on a shutter speed or
you can see here.
I can't actually see it because my screen is too small. I'm just talking on the
Uh,
I'm
I'll
just
read it
using
out.
my
I'll read it out to you. It's aperture 6.3. Um, shutter speed, I think is 1/100, and ISO is 320.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks, Ganesh. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Okay, we have a couple of more questions. One is next one is from Bharatji again. He's asking how do you select metering mode, and another question is completely different. So, do you do metering mode?
I use spot metering and I expose to the light mostly or to my subjects. You see, uh, in street normally all these technical stuff you just keep aside. You know, you go there once you understand the light conditions and everything. You have your settings ready, and you have to wait for the shots. And rest of things all secondary. There's metering and stuff like that. Like for example, the picture that I showed before. Yes, I metered it to ensure the subject is correctly have correct exposure, everything. I did everything right. But then you have to forget all those stuff. Even if the metering is not right, you have to capture the moment. That is most important. These days, like you can tweak a little bit in the Lightroom or everything to ensure the exposure is correct. But I used spot metering throughout.
There's the next question. Used second curtain for speed light shot. I didn't understand. Probably you might understand looking at the chat. That's again sent by Bharatji. Maybe if you can speak it out, Bharatji. He's asking, have you used second curtain for speed light?
Yes, yes, I do. I tried all these things, you know, but the second curtain, all I tried. But it's all about experimenting, you know. If I want, I have a idea, a preconceived idea about how my image should be when I'm using the flash, like the cattle picture which I showed. I wanted to have a blurry kind of feel. So for that, whatever takes, I fiddle around with the second cut and all these things. Like I said, I don't go into much of technicalities. For me, the outcome is more important. So I fiddle around with all these kind of stuff. Flash is all about experimenting. You don't get the right thing to do unless you're doing like advertising or commercial thing that you do the streak of lights and stuff like that, and you have use of second cut and all these things.
Okay, anyone else has any question? Okay, all good. Okay, there's one more question. It's from Sunil. Um, these days, pictures that we see are having heavy post processing. What is your opinion on it for street photography?
Uh, we don't. I mean, you see, when you look at an image, you should appreciate the photographer for the photo he has taken, not for the Photoshop or processing skills that he has done. Which is more dominant in your image? Is your photograph or your processing skills? So you just said the pictures are more over processed. Then the answer is already there because then you're looking at the overly processed kind of situation here. You forget about how he took the image. Street photography, it's just like photojournalism. You have to have things very minimal, just the basic stuff of light and shadow, or some tweaking here and there, some crop. That's it. You don't change the saturation, or you don't do anything other than that. Because your picture should have the originality when you look at it. When you post process it, you kill it. What do you say?
But I think I see maximum of the photos like that, and they seem to get appreciation as well. It's all
Yeah,
about post process.
yeah, but I don't consider them as a street photography. Of course, they might be, like I said, there is no right or wrong. But when you go to a league of that kind of street photography group and stuff like that, these images will not be accepted.
Not be accepted. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, they will not be accepted. You can play around with your local friends and your group, and you might get appreciation. But when you go to the hardcore photography group and people who follow that, they will not accept it.
Right. I wanted to hear that from you because what I'm seeing is it's all about post processing, and that's what everywhere it is happening just everywhere.
Yeah, I
So I
agree with you.
want I wanted to hear about that. Great. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Anyone has any question? Ashish, 1 minute. I think you have not. Just a second. Let me unmute you. Ashish, okay, here you go. Can
Yeah,
you
I have
repeat
a
it?
quick follow-up question on that. Sridhar, would you say that post-processing is more predominant with landscape photography than street photography?
Yes, correct. Because street, whereas post processing is what do you say is not even in our mind, because
Mhm.
we believe that whatever we capture on camera is considered to be has to be captured in the camera. You see, how do you become a good photographer? Is that 70-80% you have to capture in the camera. You have to have the settings, everything right. In landscape, of course, it demands post processing. Sometimes
Right.
you are stacking images, you have a different focal length images taken, multiple images you're stacking. All these
Right.
things are required in terms of post processing. But even though, like I said before, when you look at an image, what dominates more? Is it the photo or is it the processing skills?
Right.
This is what you have to keep the balance.
Yeah.
So let it not go overboard. Let people not appreciate you for your post processing skills. Let people appreciate you as a photographer you are.
Right. Right. Thank you. Yeah.
That was good info. Um, anyone else? All good?
Yeah.
One last question. When are you coming to Sydney?
I wish I have so much place to see in India itself, man. We are all
I totally
we are all
agree with
praying
you.
we are praying when we can go out now.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
there absolutely. Hope it'll settle down. But at least this has given us opportunity to, get on and connect with each other, which we've never done that. In fact, if you see,
Yes, that's
we've
right.
been looking at the pictures. That's it. We don't know who's who. It's good that like we are connecting now. We have people from US, that's Ashish, and we have our team lead Sudipta from US. We have from Dubai, from India. We have Sabi, the well-known photographer. We have everyone now. We haven't even met them, so it's first time we are meeting. That's good. Of course, I met Dillaj. We've been together for a long time now. Uh, Sri, I haven't even. I think I've met you only once in Dubai.
We
That's it.
met in the coffee shop.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And I still have your calendar which you sent across by post.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really good. That one of the picture was there. What you've now shown on
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
slideshow, it was part of the calendar.
Correct,
And I,
correct.
I wish I can receive one more from you coming here.
You see,
All right, so
such
that
platforms
was
are good, you know, because people like us also can share our experience, whatever we learned, and like there are many questions from people who are starting into this kind of genre. So it's good to share information, you know. And everybody is stuck at home, so what more you can do at home?
And now we've got so much of information, and when we want to put it in practice, we're just waiting when is all this going to get settled, so we
You
can
know
just
what?
go out and shoot.
No, not necessarily. My principle is that shoot at home, because right now I'm doing a quarantine project. I'm shooting everything at home, because you still can use these principles at home. You know, don't pose your subjects, don't pose your family members. There are a lot of photographers who shoot their family only and beautiful pictures. You know, all those candid moments. So try to practice at home. You know, you don't need to go out. You know, because you practice at home, then you go out, you get much better pictures. Otherwise, you will be in that rot. Your seeing will be less, and all fine day after 2 months you don't know what to do. You know, yeah,
Kind of lost.
you're just lost.
Yeah,
You know, where do I
yeah,
start?
yeah.
I shoot every day. You know, I shoot every day. I keep my camera ready, and I have my dog as my muse.
Yeah, I
I
know.
shoot every
I've
day.
been seeing that. That's your favorite model now.
Yeah. So yeah, pictures are everywhere. Everywhere. You know, just you just need to see it.
that was really great, and we got good information. Good, of course, it as your topic speaks, it's beyond streets. What you learned today. Is there anyone having any questions? All good.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Sri and Ganesh for organizing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
Ganesh.
Sri. Thank you, Sri. You have introduced street photography in our small community, which is really appreciated. And it's, again, we will start from tomorrow onwards, or rather from
Sure, sure.
tonight.
All you need to remember is what is a surprise. When you click the
Yeah.
shutter, before you click the shutter, think about it. What is a surprise you're going to give the viewers?
Mm.
Has anybody seen this before? Why you need to click again? Otherwise, what is
That's right.
that? Because when I wanted to submit to a particular group, the moderator only asked us one question: surprises. You know, surprises. So, what is the image that surprises you? This is what you have to see. Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for the
much.
tip as well.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Sri.
Best wishes.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much
Bye.
from your side, Ganesh.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Rajan.
Bye. Bye.